Okay, morning everybody. Welcome to your Monday reading. I skipped a week because I was away last week. It was a really awesome break. And now I'm back, ready to rock and roll on this Monday. So this is for this week. So the Monday, the 3rd of July, up until next week, Monday. And today's a full moon. So which actually I had not been keeping track. I saw the moon was big, but I didn't know today was actually the full moon until right now, which is awesome. So this reading is going to bring with it lots of new energy. I can feel there's a lot going on. A lot is shifting. I say it every time because shifts are always happening. Okay, so today I'm starting off with the Goddess Guidance Oracle deck. Let's see what comes through, and then I'm going to go into some tarot. Before I do the reading, I'm offering free access to my Inner Child Udemy course. The link will be below. You can just click it and you'll get free, well, not free access. You can buy it for free and then it's yours forever. So go check it out. If it's something you want to do, it's an old course that I did in 2020. So I looked a little different. I was a little nervous on video then. So maybe it was a bit different, but yeah, it's still just as good. The content is really good. So if you're keen, jump in, click the link, go check it out. Before I start the reading, if you enjoy these readings and you haven't yet subscribed, feel free to click subscribe. Hit that like button, and spread the word if you know of anybody who's keen to check out some readings for light workers or those on their spiritual journey. Let's jump in. Let's see what the cards are going to bring us today. So I hope everybody's doing well. I hope everybody's ready for some awesome messages to come through. Let's see what we get today. Okay. So the first card coming up, go outside. Super bossy, go outside. Next one, focused intention. And the next one, receptivity. So let's get started and see what comes through for each. So the go outside is definitely calling me. Just got back from a holiday to the coast where it was all about just shutting down. Not like physically, but like mentally, emotionally, spiritually, just giving myself a break. Like I actually did no cards. I didn't do meditating. I didn't do work. I didn't do anything. I just did as little as possible. And I'm not feeling ready to come out of that. So maybe some of you are feeling that too. Where we are, this side of the world is winter. Things are colder. We're feeling more of a hibernation vibe. That's where I'm sort of feeling. And I'm feeling, for me, there's a bit of an inner winter happening where I'm feeling that need to just go within. I don't want to like get out there. I don't want to do stuff. I just want to like come back to myself and be like, what am I wanting? Like, what do I want to do? Where do I want to go? And the one thing that keeps coming up for me, the word that keeps coming up for me over the last week is reinvent. Like maybe some of you are feeling that way. That's how I'm feeling. Like it's a new phase. I'm ready to reinvent, even the small things, so that it starts happening, out there. New haircut, like trying new makeup styles, new clothing, like changing the house around. Little things like that in my life that bring some new energy and new vibes and new, I don't know what it is. It's like that boost to just, so the going outside to me is that call, but also to connect with nature in different ways. So whether that means connecting to actual nature, getting out there, taking nature walks, hiking, breathing in the fresh air, or just like focusing on the beauty in nature. Like I think I spoke about it last time. I can't remember now. The cyclical nature of nature. Like sometimes that blows my mind. When you just stop and think, like spring happens and nobody has to press buttons or program it. Like the universe's intelligence is, or the earth's intelligence because of the universe is just, it's amazing. Like the flowers bloom, no one tells them to bloom. Obviously there's stuff in place that all of this happens. There's science behind it, obviously, but the intelligence behind the science behind the nature is just amazing. So there's cycles in nature, there's cycles in us. And I think that's a call to remember that if you're sitting in a winter and you don't know when you're going to get out of the winter, spring will come. And it doesn't have to be actual spring. It might coincide with actual spring, but it might not. But I would say the call is to go within and allow. So if you're feeling a need for winter and you're feeling a need for quiet and you're feeling a need to go within, maybe honor that and do it and see where it takes you, because sometimes that will prepare you for a really, really beautiful inner spring where you just allow yourself to bloom. And some people sit in an inner winter for a long time. Like it could be like years. Sometimes there's a lot brewing. I had a lot of inner winters over the last few years, and I still feel them coming on, where I just need to sit and allow and rest and digest and not just digest within, but digest, the information. And that brings up, first card is bringing up a lot of stuff, because I remembered something that I wanted to bring up again. There's a lot of changes happening in the world. So a lot of us light workers, going through like spiritual awakening, spiritual shifts, sometimes it's freaking mind-blowing, because you're looking at the whole world and the whole universe and your whole life and your whole self and everyone in a different way. And that's a lot. It's a lot to take in. And I go through those periods sometimes where I just take a step back and look at the world, and my mind can't comprehend it. Like my human body can't comprehend it. And I need rest to just be like, what the actual is going on? This is too much for me to comprehend. So yeah, I think that's a thing. Like, go outside, take a break. You don't always have to do the inner work. You don't always have to do the outer work. Sometimes you need to do no work and just chill. Okay, the next one, the card Diana, is focused intention. So I feel like it's a call to kind of like focus on stuff that is most important. So prioritizing, really like honing in. There's an arrow here. Focus your arrow on the things you want to achieve. Stop looking at what could go wrong. Stop looking at what you don't want, because we do that. I really don't want this to happen. Okay, what do you want to happen? Flip it around. And it's not to be like toxic positivity where you're like, I'm not going to be sad, I'm only going to be happy, I'm not going to focus on that, I'm only going to focus on this. It's allowing yourself to sit with what is. So when there is the sadness, when there is disappointment, when there is anger, why is it there? So that you can move through it in order to focus on what you do want. And what do you want? No one can tell you what you want. For me, I want to start focusing more on what I really want to hone in on. So like, get specific about, if you're working with clients, who do you want to work with? Get specific on money goals. What do you want out of your money goals? What do you want the universe to bring you? Get specific, get focused. When it comes to interpersonal relationships, friendships, family, your day-to-day socializing, what do you want out of it? Like, who do you want to be around? And you don't have to be specific about the person, but you can, if you know who you want to be around. But what types of people do you want to be around? Like, if you find yourself in patterns and you're around the same types of people and you're not enjoying it, like, what's happening? What's it bringing up in you? And who do you actually want to be around? Where's the focus going? And sometimes that means change. Sometimes that means shift. Sometimes that means difficult endings. Is it time for a difficult ending? Only you know. Okay, and the third one, receptivity. Sorry, I don't know if you can see the cards because of the light. Okay, so receptivity is something that came to me like strongly last year or the year before. I can't remember when it was. All about, do I allow myself to receive? So it's very much feminine flow, very much getting into the flow of what are you actually allowed to receive and what are you allowed to give? And are you allowing yourself to fully receive, and are you allowing yourself fully to give? And I came up with this cycle, and I didn't come up with it. It was in a meditation. And I started realizing that there's like a flow cycle. Do I allow myself to fully desire? So ask yourself, do you allow yourself to fully desire what you want? Do you actually feel it in your body? I desire XYZ. What does that feel like? And if you don't, what's blocking you? What's stopping you from desiring? And then asking yourself, so from desire, you go to, now I have to remember the cycle. From desire, you go to ask. Do you ask for stuff? How does it feel to ask the universe? How does it feel to ask for help from others? How does it feel to ask for guidance? Whatever it is. Are you trying to do it all on your own? Even with the universe, I do it. So I'll tell you a story that I knew was going to come up as well. I've had a health issue that's been coming up on and off over the last few years. I sat in meditation literally maybe like 3 years ago, and I got this message that there was an issue with my liver. I won't say issue, that there were health things going on with my liver, but it's not like, it's not like doom and gloom. It was like, let's do this. Let's work on it. Let's find healing. And a lot of the messages I got were really, really helpful. So I changed some diet things. I changed some lifestyle things. I went to my doctor. I got medication, like, that was needed. I went to my homeopath. I got medication that was needed. So it's not to say you always have to do it alone. There's help. I mean, and I will never give medical advice either. You've got to go to the medical and, holistic professionals that you choose to work with. But what happened is I sort of ignored it a little bit, and I've been on the medications and things, but some of the symptoms are still coming up. And yesterday, now this is where the kicker is. I started sitting with it and thinking, I felt kind of desperate for the last week. I was like, I don't know what to do. I'm on the medication. I'm on a homeopathic stuff, and I'm still getting symptoms. Like, what do I do? And I can't fully explain to the medical professionals that I'm getting messages, like I could, but I'm not in that space that I want to. And I don't think they're in that space that they want to hear it, which is not their fault or problem. I'm not, there's no judgment, but which is also, it's been a journey to accept that. I'm not going to change people. This is who I am, and this is the journey I'm going on with my health. So yesterday I realized again, I sat with the feeling of desperation, disappointment, like what's coming up in my body, and I just sat with it. And it led me to a memory that I don't even know if it was a real past life memory or it was just a relatable situation that I could sit with. And it showed me a guy, me as a male monk, and whether this is real or not, it doesn't matter because it's what came from it. Sitting in like a prison cell all alone, and absolute despair. I didn't know, I don't know what I'm going to do there. It's absolute despair. So I guess in my mind, it's like a subconscious message. I feel like I'm trapped in a prison cell, and there's a feeling of absolute despair. I don't know what the next step is. And then I asked myself, if I was to be this person in this prison cell, like what is the advice I would give them? And the advice was, stop trying to do it all on your own. Seek advice from your guides, from spirit, from the universe, because it's always there if you just shut up in your head. And I try to say it more compassionately, but stop trying to control, stop trying to always talk in your head and find solutions. Try and, in more compassionate way, try and quieten down the mind. Try and quieten down the mind and allow spirit to speak to you. And I sat for a good 15, 20 minutes just trying to silence the mind. And I got some information. I got some messaging that I thought was random. And I often do this. I do mediumship readings for people. I do intuitive readingships. I do intuitive readings for people. And I trust those messages because it's not me. And when I tell them, they go, yes, I can relate to that because it's bouncing off somebody else. When it's just me, and you might have this experience, when you get a message, you go, no, don't believe it. So I wrote this down and I was like, I don't believe this. But whatever. Googled the thing they told me to look up. They, as in spirit, Googled it. It was so specific. Looked it up. It was 3 words and a place I could find it. And I mean, it's Dis-Chem. Dis-Chem is like our local pharmacy, Find it. I was like, no way. I've made this up. This is wrong. I looked it up. It's true. And it does exactly what I needed in my body. So the message is trust, surrender, quieten the mind, give yourself space and time to connect to your guides, even if you don't know how to do it. Like a lot of the times, people, even in the spiritual world, will give you like step 10, like 10 steps to connecting with your guides. Do this, do that, do this. You know what? Forget all of that. Push it away. If you want to connect to your guides, just ask them. Just say, I want to connect to you in whatever way you are willing to connect to me. The first time I connected to my guardian angel, I found a video online. I literally allowed myself to sit, to silence, to open my heart, allow the energy from my heart. You don't have to do this, but this worked for me. Allow the energy from my heart space to lift, almost feeling it lifting into my crown chakra space and opening out. So an invitation to connect to spirit and allow where I connect to spirit through our crown chakra to connect to spirit. And I set an intention to connect to my guardian angel. And then I sat and I tried my utmost to just surrender to whatever was. And the smallest little things that happened were actually big things when I looked back, because I felt a hand holding my hand. I felt a warmth. And when I trust the messages increase. So I think that's the message here today. Receive messages, receive guidance, allow yourself to surrender to the mind, surrender the thoughts, surrender the control. Spirit is there to guide. So if there is one thing now that you're sitting with, where you feel like you have no answer and it's like you're hitting dead ends, you don't know where to go, you don't know where to turn, no one can help you, ask for guidance from Spirit. And I know it sounds so simple, and it isn't always simple, but it also is as simple as that. Give yourself time to pray, to meditate, to connect, and allow the guidance to come through. Okay, let's go on to tarot. I get into a spin of like talking around in circles. Okay, let's see what's coming up. Like just now, I saw the moon came up, but I don't know if it's going to come up when. It didn't. Okay, so let's see what we've got. Because full moon, so I was like, the moon will come up. Yeah, this looks good. Okay, let's see. I think we had this in the last reading. We've got our 9 of, what are they called? 9 of Wands. Sorry, Wands. Okay, so for me, it's a period of like, I've said this before with this card, and I'm feeling it again. It's waiting for something to go wrong. It's watching your back. And I feel like it's people. Like for this one, last time it wasn't. I feel like this time it's like you're waiting for somebody to like sabotage you or to say something that knocks you off a pedestal or knocks your confidence. And I feel like the message here, it's not so much to move forward. It's to just sit and be like, am I actually saying this to myself? So anything you're waiting for outside of yourself is something you're doing within. That's the message here. If it resonates, take it. If it doesn't, don't. But for me, it's like sitting with, oh no, nobody's going to believe me. Do I believe me? Oh no, nobody's going to believe I can do that. Do I believe I can do that? If I don't, maybe that's what I need to work on. Oh no, nobody's going to talk to me and be nice to me. Am I being nice to me? Am I talking to myself kindly? So it's all of that coming back to you. What are you doing to yourself? That's reflecting outside of you. And now you're waiting for somebody to do something to you, but it's you. Like, it's you. Like, how are you being to you? That's being reflected back to you outside of yourself. Knight of Cups. I feel like it's a waiting. He's holding the cup. He's got everything, but it's a waiting for the right time. And maybe now is not the right time. And maybe that's not a nice thing to hear. And you can go ahead and do what you need to do if you still need to do it, if there's something you want to do. But I feel it's a call, and it's not a waiting like it's not going to happen. It's a calm, confident waiting. I got this for somebody the other day when I did a reading. It's like a strong, like you know what you need to do, and you know it's going to succeed. But maybe it's not the right timing because you need to rest within yourself before you jump ahead and do it. Let me know if that makes sense. The next one, Page of Swords, we've got, like, for me, these are individual cards. It's all about the individual. Yeah, it's like the self. What is happening within you? Can you focus on you for a little bit this week? So for me, the Page of Swords is a little bit of freedom. And I'm needing a lot of freedom lately. I tie myself down to expectations. Like, I'm like, oh, everybody's waiting for me to do X. No, nobody's waiting for me to do anything. I am placing expectations on myself that nobody told me to do. How much of that are you doing? How much of that resonates in you? So like, I'll be like, I'm so stressed because everybody's waiting for me to do the video on Monday. No. Were you all waiting for me? I don't think so. Maybe you're watching this now just being like, oh, I didn't know you did a video on a Monday. Like, expectations. Freedom. How can you find more freedom this week? What does freedom mean to you? What does freedom look like? For me, freedom is literally running free. Nothing holding me back. And I'm just free. Like nothing on my time, nothing on my space, like literally just going for a jog and breathing in the fresh air. Freedom. Simple, but maybe powerful message. Now we've got our, what is this? 7? Hang on. 6, yeah, no, 6 of Cups. 6 of Cups. For me, this is a inner child energy, and it's again with self. Though there's 2 people, usually when I read this card, it's someone around you, the way you're interacting with them. But this to me is the way you're interacting with you. How are you interacting with your inner child? And just now I told my inner child to shut up. And that makes me feel sad. Like, that's not cool. Would I tell my actual child to just shut up? maybe I would, like if I'm in a bad space, but then what do I need to do to get back to the space where I can be compassionate from the heart, not rehearsed script, like from the heart, speaking because I actually am being kind to myself and others. So it's inner child. How are you speaking to inner child? And actually, wow, it worked. Free inner child thing. I just came up with it this morning. I didn't know inner child was going to come up. Free inner child Udemy course, free Udemy course on the inner child, reparenting your inner child. Click the link, you'll get it free. Enjoy it. It's got some good stuff in. Okay, and the last card for today. Are you carrying too much? Are you doing too much for other people when you need to focus on you? It's coming back to it each time. Come back to you. What do you need for you? What can you drop? What can you shed? It's a full moon. Sometimes the full moon for some people is a new, fresh start. Like, what intentions am I going to set? Where am I going to go with my life this week? For me, it's feeling more of a letting go, releasing, shedding. And sometimes that's what it is as well. What are you ready to let go of so that you can move forward? Reinvented. That was my word right at the beginning. Reinventing who you are, and not reinventing a false version of yourself. Reinventing in order to come back to a truer version of who you are deep within. I think I'm going to leave it there. This has been a great reading. I really enjoyed it. It's helped me. I've got some messages here for myself. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, please click the like button, subscribe, notification bell, blah, blah, all those things. Spread the word to others. I want to just end by saying, like, you're on a journey for a reason. You're heading in a direction for a reason. And don't lose sight of the fact that you are special. No matter what you're doing, what your purpose is, and I don't believe that there is one purpose, but what your purposefulness is as you move through this day and this week and this month and this life and this soul journey, like, you are special to yourself and to others. Take some time to honor that. I think that's what I'm ending with.